now the lecture will be recorded and accordingly it will be, you can see it afterwards if you miss certain things. Okay, so we were discussing illustration number 6.7 and let me tell you that how it is to be calculated using Excel also. So if you uh, I hope you are able to see the Excel on the screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I will be doing certain things on the Excel itself. You can just see and do it even afterwards. So the year is from 1 to we will be taking it up to 10. So year is from 1 to 10, you can say. The automatic function is not properly working over here. That's why I have typed it. Otherwise, you would have dragged it as such. Now sales over here is given as 20 lakhs in the first most year. And then afterwards, there is an increment of 5%. So here you can use equal to this. So here 5% increment is being taken up. So it will be added back in it as such. And the same thing can generate the results for the next years, right? So you can just tally these figures with the books also. Okay, now there is a profit after tax. Profit after tax is 10% of the sales, right? So equal to multiply by 10%. Okay. Now this 10% of the sales is coming over here. Every year you will be having this. Now if you see the depreciation is on the straight line method. So how it has been calculated is that how much is the total cost of the machine? 5 lakhs. And how much is the salvage value? 2.5 lakhs. Salvage value is 2.5 lakhs. So how much will be the depreciation? Divided by how much it is? 2.5, 40,000 is coming.
Sir, actually we have to add the additional investment also in the cost.
Yeah. Installation cost also will be added. So it will be 40,000 somewhere. So you have calculated it now. Why should I just do it over here? The initial investment and other things which are a part of the depreciation, which are a part of the initial cost of the machine. But please do not add working capital. Why? Why working capital will not be added? Anyone?
Because it is a part of cost of asset.
working capital is not added because it is not a part of cost of asset. Only installation cost or any other carrying cost, which is helpful for us to bring the machine to the factory, or you can say bring the machine in working condition, is required. Working capital is the additional raw material which is not a part of the machine. So that therefore it will not be added. If there will be any carrying cost, suppose I have carried the machine. Yesterday I told you I have carried the machine from Ahmedabad to Jaipur. So that carrying cost will be added, because without that machine will never come in function. So that will again be added in this depreciation, and the finally depreciation is coming to be 40,000. You can copy this 40,000 for the all the remaining cells. Fine. So in the same way as given in the problem, that the working capital requirement will also be there, which will be, I think, 10% of the profit after tax. What? How much is the working capital requirement? 5% of the sales. 5% of the sales is the working capital requirement in the year 1, and there will be incremental working capital requirement of how much? The working capital requirement will also increase by 5% every year. So incremental will again. Now here, if you see that working capital, we have already taken in the initial cash outflows. See, 5 lakhs was 1.5 lakhs plus 1 lakh. We have taken this 1 lakh in the initial cost, 7.5 lakhs. So every year there will be increment in the working capital. So here the working capital requirement for the first year will be 5,000, and then again it will increase in the proportion of 5% itself, 5% of the previous. Okay, so here it will be and this can be taken up to 9th year only. Why up to 9th year? Because on 10th year we are realizing the working capital back. If you see the terminal cash flow which happens in the year 10, it will again give us back the working capital. Okay, so that's why it is not considered in 10th year. Okay, now after this we will calculate the final cash flows after tax. Now here, if you see, this cash flows will be the profit after tax plus depreciation minus working capital, increase in the working capital. So that can be done, I suppose, or should I do it? So if you see, it is 2 lakh plus 40,000 minus 5,000. So this will be the cash flow for every, you can say, why we are decreasing working capital? Because 2 lakhs and 40,000, these are the cash inflows. Minus the outflow will be the working capital requirement, which is nothing but the investment, you can say, or you can say the things which we have put in order to get it. So 2 lakhs minus, plus 40,000 and minus this 5,000, and this will be applicable for the rest of the cells also, including the last cell. Okay, I hope it's making sense. Hello, everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fine, great. So we have studied about the initial cash outflow. We have also seen the subsequent cash outflows for the year. Now see the terminal cash flow. The terminal cash flow at the year of 10, the terminal cash flow will be consist of the salvage value. I have already told, because the machine we will be selling at the end of year 10. So that will be fetching us 2.5 lakhs, and the working capital will be realized. Working capital whatsoever we have included will again be realized in the year 10. right? So it is the initial stage we have included how much working capital? 1 lakh. And every month we have inserted certain amount of working capital in the form of the incremental working capital, which has increased along with the sales, right? So that has amounted to total has amounted to 1,55,131, right? So that will again be fetched back. And the regular cash inflow is 2.50 lakhs.
You are muted.
Yeah. So finally, I hope this terminal cash flow, you have any problem in this terminal cash flow to anyone?
No, sir.
Fine. So this is the way we calculate the cash flows. Now I hope you will be able to, or you might have done the remaining other illustrations also. So let me just take you to the chapter 7. This is what we have completed in our chapter number 6, that is the estimation of cash flow. So just in order to revise it, there are 3 types of cash flows. One is your initial cash flow, second is subsequent cash flow, which will happen in the subsequent year, and finally is the terminal cash flow. So calculation of all these 3 cash flows we have studied, and I hope there is no problem in that, because we have taken, that's why we have taken the last illustration. Okay, so this is how what it is, and then afterwards I will keep one quiz also, which will be evaluated towards your final evaluation too, because in this COVID days, I don't think there will be other method of evaluation except evaluating through quizzes and all that. So I will give you about 10 to 15 questions, and you have to answer in 10 to 15 minutes, whatever. So accordingly, you have to finish it, and it will again be a time bound quiz. It will start at a certain time. It will end at a certain time. Within that only you have to attend it. Otherwise, you will lose your marks. Fine. So next is your capital budgeting techniques of evaluation, the chapter number 7, which we have just now. So I'm just switching to the PDF, which has been sent recently by Purva. Thanks, Purva, for your initiative, and thanks to Ashi for sharing it with me too. So I'm opening that PDF, and accordingly we will proceed further. This PDF also I will upload over there on the official portal. Are you using the official portal, any of you? Is anyone using the official portal?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So I will upload the things over there also, because that is the place where we will be able to. And please scroll down it, because we will be studying it over here. So that official portal is also recording the way you will be studying and reading the document, to what extent you have read the document, and everything will be monitored over there. So you can please open it over there and then do it. So if you see the synopsis part, 2 techniques are given over here as a payback period and accounting rate techniques, accounting rate of return as a traditional techniques of evaluation of cash flows. So till now we are able to at least calculate the cash flows. So now what to do with these cash flows in order to take the decision is our 7th chapter, that is the techniques of evaluation. The projects we are having, the cash outflow we know, the cash inflow we know. Now we are having a platform, or you can say a ready-made thing, by which the data which we can through which we can analyze that whether investment is worth feasible, whether it is feasible for us or not. So there are 2 types of techniques, as I discussed in my yesterday's presentation also, that there is non-discounted cash flow techniques and discounted cash flow techniques. These traditional techniques are nothing but the non-discounted cash flow techniques. So one is payback period, which we have already seen yesterday. So if you scroll down, now here it is given that if the payback period is equal or unequal, what? So if you see it over here, what you have to do it, see the left column of the page where the year annual cash flows and cumulative cash flows are given. So here if you see, what is the best technique to do is that you start taking the cumulative and see when it is able to, when we are able to get the cash flows. Now it is just a very small example given. If the unequal cash flows are, if the even cash flows are given, then everything is even, means you can just directly divide it and do the things. Here if you see, when the uneven cash flows are given, then here for example, the a proposal require a cash outflow of 20,000. Can you see that on the left side? It's given over here. 20,000 is the expected to generate a cash inflows of 8,000, 6,000, 4,000, 2,000 and 2,000 over the period of next 5 years respectively. The payback period is 4 years because 8,000. Now here where this 20,000 comes up. So 8 plus 6, 14, 14 plus 4, 18, 18 plus 2, 20,000. So in 4 years, this the payback period is 4 years. So no need to go for further 2,000 more in one more year, which is given in the 5th year. Okay, so here you can finish it by having this in 4 years itself. So the payback period here will be 4 years. Okay, so advantage, disadvantage we have. Yeah, and any question from anyone?
Sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah, who is this?
Sir, Nikhil, sir.
Yeah.
I want to apologize. I am asking old question.
Yeah, please proceed. No problem. Go ahead.
Sir, in illustration 7 for cash flow, we are deducting the working capital. Also, sir, for initial cash flow, we are adding working capital that is 5% of sales. Why, sir?
5 it is given in because see, if the sales will increase, the working capital has to increase. What actually is working capital? Working capital is nothing but we need for the day-to-day practice, isn't it?
Yes.
So if the working capital is required for day-to-day practice, accordingly, more sales will result in more working capital. So if there is increase of 5% sales, then there has to be increase in the working capital. So if the working capital is increasing, then only you will be able to justify the sales, otherwise not. I hope I have answered it. Nikhil. Yeah, Nikhil, is it okay? This Gurujit is creating a problem over here.
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So let us come to the next method, which is called accounting rate of return. I hope it is already shared with you. So let me just take you to the next method, which is called accounting rate of return. Now, what is this accounting rate of return?
हेलो सर, आप म्यूट हो गए शायद.
Yeah. So in the accounting rate of return, thank you for telling me. For accounting rate of return, if you see, the formula is average investment in the project is a numerator, and on that particular investment how much return you have got or how much profit you have got. So इसमें it is nothing more than the return upon the investment into 100. But what is to be done is you have to take the average profit after tax, because the profit generated in the years will be different from the different years. So what we have to do is we have to just take the average profit. Mind it, here we need not to add back the depreciation. Why? Because we are considering profit after tax, not the cash flows. And denominator is nothing but the average investment in the project. So on the average investment in the project, we have to give the we have to divide the profits by the average investment. So on the investment, the profits will be evaluated, multiply by 100 will give you the accounting rate of return. So it is very simple that in accounting rate of return, we will consider the project which is having a higher rate of return, right? So higher rate of return, better it is. So at that time, what will happen? That the what will be the decision criteria? The decision criteria will be higher rate of return will be chosen. Okay. So the investment and all this average is to be taken. So let us see one example for this. If you see this example on the very next page, there is a small example given in the text itself. Okay. It may be noted that the above equation, the amount of the salvage, okay, this is a salvage value is given in this para itself. If you just see, for example, ABC Limited takes a project of 1,20,000 with the expected life of 5 years and the salvage value of 20,000 at the end. So the what will be the average investment? So 1,20,000 minus 20,000. Okay, and then this 20,000 and 70,000, I think it's coming from the previous example.
सर आप फिर म्यूट हो गए।
ये बदतमीजी कौन कर रहा है, मुझे तो पहले ये बताइए आप। तो जिसको नहीं पढ़ना है वो घर बैठो यार, और अपने कोई जरूरत नहीं है इसमें आने की। Unnecessarily you are disturbing me and disturbing the whole class where I am putting my efforts. Rather than appreciating it, you are creating a disturbance. I don't know why you want to showcase the values of your means the values of your house and the values of your parents over here. I'm not at all able to understand that. Yesterday also I think somebody was making sound. I don't know मतलब कहाँ से वो sounds आप निकाल रहे हो और कहाँ से लेके आ रहे हो पता नहीं। आप ही के घर में से आ रही थी वो sounds, तो आप तो मीटिंग में थे तो कौन निकाल रहा होगा। तो डोंट जस्ट शोकेस, आपकी घर की तमीज यहाँ दिखाने की जरूरत नहीं है, चुपचाप पढ़िए और अपने घर पे बैठिए। Anyways, the average investment or otherwise what I will do is that I will share some videos from the internet itself. You study yourself. You don't need me. I don't think so. If you really want to study, then only come. Otherwise, there is no need to come. You are wasting your time also and the time of the class too, and spoiling the mood of others also. Unnecessarily, क्या मतलब निकलता है? Anyways, just read it yourself. This you will be able to understand this average rate of return. And let me just tell you what questions you have to do. This is not that much important technique because it is not used these days. That's why you will not find more questions on this also. Still, if you want to do certain things, we'll tell you what you can do. Now here also, if you see, you will not find more questions on this payback period method and this ARR. It will be better if you try this financial modeling which is given over here in your books also. by your own so that you will be able to understand how it is done using Excel. That's why I have told you to this purchase this book, because this comprises of this Excel modeling also. Chaliye, next method, let us study next method, that is net present value method. For that, I will go to my PowerPoint presentation, which I was showing you yesterday. Can you see the PPT now?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. I have to share
No,
it.
no,
again.
sir.
Okay, fine. Hope now you are able to see it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
हाँ मेरे को तो नहीं आई।
आ जाएगी बेटा, रिफ्रेश करो, आ जाएगी। आ गई?
Yes sir.
Fine. So this we have we studied yesterday itself. Limitation. Now this is the ARR given, which I have just now told you, right? So now discounted cash flow techniques. So for this we have time value of money. So this time value of money concept is again a very important concept. So the concept of time value of money, a rupee today is worth more than a rupee tomorrow. If someone tells you that what would you like to accept, 100 rupees today, or if I will give you 100 rupees after 1 year, I think you will tell that I will be ready to accept the 100 rupees now. If you are having a choice of doing this, you will prefer to accept the 100 rupee now rather than taking the 100 rupees after 1 year. Why? There are two reasons for this. Number one reason is that who knows after 1 year that 100 rupees, the person who is giving us 100 rupees will be there or not. Or
सर आप फिर से म्यूट हो गए।
No,
सर
sir.
आवाज आ रही है आपकी।
आवाज आ रही है आपकी।
आ रही है, आ रही है।
आ रही है सर।
So I can see here whether I'm muted or not. Mute होता तो मैं भी unmute कर लेता. Okay, anyways, so what you will be ready to accept is that whatever the 100 rupees which you are getting today, you will be ready to accept that rather than accepting 100 rupees after 1 year, because number one, there is a risk, and secondly, that a person who is paying you the 100 rupees now will be able to pay you this 100 rupees after 1 year or not, or there is uncertainty. Number one is a risk factor. Secondly, the thing which you will consider is that if you accept 100 rupees now, put it in a bank, after 1 year, this 100 rupees will become 105 rupees if the rate of interest in the bank is 5%. So you will be getting more after 1 year, or otherwise what you will tell to that person, okay, I will ready to accept 100 means this amount, but the amount has to be adjusted with the interest. I think yesterday itself somebody was talking about the interest, that what will happen to the interest. So this particular time value of money, we actually calculate a discounting factor. So here, if the bank rate is 5%, what is the discounting factor for me? It is 5%, or you can say the compounding factor. So 100 rupees ka 5%. So after 1 year, it will be 105. And if I will ask you now that if 5% is the rate of interest prevailing in the market, what will you like to prefer? 100 rupees today or 105 rupees after 1 year? You will say kuch bhi chalega, that I will take either 100 now and afterwards. No problem. I don't have any problem in accepting any of these. Why? Because after 1 year, my return, my 100 rupees or the investment is adjusted with the value, or you can say with the discount. This what is called time value of money, that along with the time, the value of money also is adjusted. So always it is always true that a rupee worth today is more than a rupee worth tomorrow. Okay, and if you proceed further with this presentation, therefore it can be concluded that money can be invested to grow a bigger amount and it has a time value. So it is having a time value of money means a money, if it is invested, will grow by the time and it is having a time value. So let us discuss now about the future value. So now there are two values. So while discussing this time value of money, we are having two values. One is the present value and another is the future value. If we will consider that 100 rupees, the present value of that 100 rupees is 100, but the future value will be 105 rupees. Why? Because it is adjusted along with the rate of interest, that is 5%. So assume now, again same example I am taking over here. Assume 100 rupees to be invested in a bank which is paying 5% interest compounded annually. Compounding means you're not withdrawing the money, that 5% which you have earned after 1 year, you're not withdrawing it, and accordingly it will be again be treated as an investment for the next year. So what will happen? 100 plus 5% of 100, that is 105, will be after 1 year you will get 105, and then this 105 received at the end of the year will be referred to as future value of the money. So this is what is called, you can say, the future value of the money. And then further, if you keep this invested, further if the money is invested for 2 years, then what value it will be? 100 plus 5%, 105. So it is reinvested in the beginning of the second year. Again, this 105 plus 5% of 105, it will be 110.25. Here comes the formula for compounding interest. So we have just now learned that the money keeps on growing. If you do not withdraw it, it keeps on generating the fruits for you in the near future. So amount is equal to principal 1 plus rate of interest raised to power time. This is the formula for calculating the you can say the future value. So principal is over here is 100, 1 plus rate of interest is 0.05, and the time is 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, whatever. So you have to raise it by that particular factor, and accordingly you will get the future value. So in mathematical sense, if you see, future value is equal to present value 1 plus r raised to power n, where FV is the future value, PV is the present value, R is the rate of interest, and N is the number of years. If we will refer this again, if you see that after 2 years, if you put it raised to power 2, it will come to 110.25. Fine. Now here, now this is a present value method. What we do, the cash generated in the future are not equivalent to initial cash invested by the firm at present. The reason for this is nothing but the interest factor. The NPV method overcomes this defect, and makes the initial cash outflow and the subsequent cash inflow comparable. So NPV is obtained by discounting all the cash inflows attributable to the capital investment by a project by a investment project by a rate which is called WACC. WACC is weighted average cost of capital. So this here in the previous example, we have taken 5% as the weighted average cost of capital. It is whether it is weighted average cost of capital, whether it is a discounting rate whatsoever, or you can say working capital rate or rate of return, it is all one in the same thing while we are evaluating our this NPV, evaluating through NPV and all. So if we continue with this, so what will happen now? Here we have calculated, here we have this FP is equal to PV 1 plus R raised to power N we have calculated. Now this is the future value. Now if you see this net present value method, we have already calculated cash flows in the previous chapter. The cash flows generated by the firm in the previous chapter we have studied that it may be even or it may be uneven. Mostly it is uneven. Practically it is important that these cash flows will be uneven, which will be generated in the near future. So the future cash flow, the value of the future cash flow which is generated in the future years to come, we have to we have to make it comparable with the present outflow. When we are doing investment, we are doing investment today. Today I am taking a decision whether should I purchase a car to just drive it as a taxi, that and how much return I will get. If my 7 lakh rupees is kept in the bank, okay, now that 7 lakh rupees I am investing now on a car, it should at least generate a rate of return more than what my bank is paying, isn't it? So then only the investment will be feasible. Otherwise, I am sitting at my home doing nothing and earning only the rate of return which my bank is providing. So I am earning it already. So in order to deploy those funds, I must be having a rate of return which is higher than bank. So with that higher rate of return, I will discount and will calculate the present value, not the future value. Future value is the estimated value which my projects will generate in the near future. In the questions which we have just now understood, that if you see that illustration number 6.6 in the previous chapter which we have just now done, I think that is illustration number uh, yeah 6.7, in which 20 lakhs was the sales and which has increased to 5% and all. If you see, these all are the next 10 years, these are the future years, right? And the future years, this will be generated, and it is full of uncertainty. It is not certain that it will come or not, right? So with that, with this uncertainty is also adjusted and put it in. Suppose for example, the rate of return, if I will put my things in fixed deposit, the rate of return which I may get from the bank is 7% or 8%. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Hope you are
Yes, sir.
yeah, hope you are understanding.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. For example, my rate of return, which I will be, or you can say the bank is giving me a fixed deposit rate of return of suppose 7 or 7.5. Let us consider it at 8%. Okay. And now, how much should I expect from my this project should to generate in the near future should be adjusted and added with the risk I am taking. It should be the risk premium. And further, it should be adjusted with the beta. I will tell you this formula when we'll be doing this capital asset pricing model, from where this discount rate we generate. Here presently the discount rate will be given in your question itself, but afterwards I will tell you that even this discount rate is generated from the market. So beta is some beta. If you just want to just write down capital asset pricing model, then afterwards you can Google it what actually it is. Capital asset pricing model, CAPM model. So even if you put CAPM model on the Google, it will come up. So from there you can actually get that how this discount rates are generated and how these discount rates are calculated. Because every project is having its own discount rate. If the project is risky, the risk factor will be high and the discounting rate will also be high, because the expectation of the investors from that project is high. So they expect a higher rate of return. That's why they discount their cash flows also from the higher rate of return. And this sometimes makes the projects unfeasible also, because they do not want to put money in that project which is uncertain, or you can say. And if a person will put a money in that project which is having higher uncertainty, his expectation or the returns will also be very, very high. If I'm putting some money in some secure business like a bank account, or you can say, or a fixed deposit is also earning, so I am happy with 7.5%. But if I'm put at the same time, if I'm putting some of my money in some of the shares, or you can say the market, I would like to generate more returns on it. That's why the rate of return, or you can say expected rate of return, or you can say weighted average cost of capital is higher in that case when we are expecting higher returns. So here the discounting rate, or you can say the R in this particular formula, will totally depend on it. Now at the same time here, if I hope you all have copies, can you write this formula? FV is equal to PV 1 plus R raised to power n. So this is the future value. If I want to convert it into present value, what will be the formula? The formula will be present value. If you take this 1 plus R raised to power n from right hand side to left hand side, the present value formula will be FV upon 1 plus R raised to power n. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, good. So present, so this is a very, very important formula which you will see over here, that the future return FV is nothing but the future returns. In this question we are considering 20 lakhs, 21 lakhs, 22 lakhs, 5,000 and all that. So these are the future returns. So future returns divided by 1 plus r raised to power n, if we do, then we will get the present value of that. And when we are making investment, we are making investment now in the present time. So we also want, and that's why we want to convert the future value also in the present value in order to make both the things comparable. So that's why this formula, that if NPV, that's why this in NPV we just consider this formula as such, that NPV is obtained by discounting all the cash inflows attributable to a capital in investment by project by a rate that is called WACC. That is R1. NPV will be equal to what? R1 upon 1 plus I. I is the rate of interest, you can say, or I is the, you can put R also over here, 1 plus R raised to power 1 for the first year, 2 for the second year, 3 for the third year, and Rn for the 1 plus R raised to power n for the nth year. So what we will be doing is that we will be reducing it with the initial investment minus, now see, this all addition of all R1, R2, R3 and all these things minus initial investment, you can say. So these are the things which will be considered, where R is the cost of capital or cutoff rate or discount rate or WACC, whatever you want to say. Now what will be the decision criteria? Decision criteria is, if the net present value is positive, we will accept the decision, and if the net present value is negative, we will reject. We will not put our money in that asset which is not able to pay the present value of our investment in the future, right? So in that way it will be giving us a negative one. So this is how we calculate the net present value. So in the same way we will go for the profitability index also. Let me just tell you here what we are doing. The present value of future cash inflows divided by present value of future cash outflows. Now if you see this formula very, very carefully, the present value of cash outflow is nothing but your investment, and the present value of future cash flow is nothing but your returns. So you are dividing your returns by your total investment. And if this present value is PI is more than 1, you will accept. If the PI is less than 1, you will reject. Now previously what we were doing, we were actually deducting the future value of cash inflow minus, जो हमने यहाँ पे किया है ना, ये minus initial investment क्या है? Initial investment is nothing but the future value of cash outflows. That's why here it is written, this method takes two projects comparable in which there is a difference in the amounts of the initial. जब initial invest, and when we use this method, profitability index method is used when there is difference in the initial investment. So if I want to compare, if I have a problem now here, up till here, up to this NPV, we have understood that if the NPV is positive, we will invest, and if NPV is negative, we will not invest. Suppose for example you are given two projects and you have to choose between the two. What will you take? What will you take? The project which is having a higher NPV, you will consider that project over that project which is having a less NPV. So preference will be given to the project which is having a higher NPV. But this method can be used only if the initial investment is same for both the projects. But if the initial investment is different for both the projects, then you have to take this profitability index method, because the numerator and denominator, it will be nothing. What it will be doing, it will be doing nothing but comparing the your inflows per cash outflow, per rupee of cash outflow is how much, and it will give the comparison of both the projects which is having a different initial investment. Okay, for example, you are considering a machinery which is one machinery is of rupees 5 lakhs, another machinery is of rupees 3 lakhs. So in order to study that, it is better to go for profitability index, and even NPV will also serve a good purpose. That at that time, what you have to consider, a project which is giving you a higher rate of return, or you can say the higher NPV, you will consider that. Okay, so this is about your NPV and profitability index. So let us now just switch to our question where we can actually do the questions considering these two things. So I am again sharing with you the, I hope now you can see this your book pages. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let us just go through a very simple question of this net present value. Now this PIU is also given in the similar way. You can see it over here along with the formula, right? So IRR also I will tell you afterwards. There is some interpolation being used over here in the step 5. Step by step it is given. It is very it is explained in a very good way. This IRR method you have to do it yourself. Internal rate of return. Please note down internal rate of return on this page number 192. You have to do it yourself. It's also a very good method. When the internal rate of return method is used when you are not at all provided with the this discounting rate. आपको rate दे ही नहीं रखा होगा. Here actually you have to calculate the rate. Then you will be able to do it. Let me take you to the graded illustrations. Okay, let us just do one thing. आप सबके पास में कैलकुलेटर्स है? कैलकुलेटर्स ले आइए जरा, अगर आपके पास में नहीं है तो.
Yes, sir.
है तो बहुत अच्छा है, अगर नहीं है तो ले आइए. मैं बस 2-3 मिनट में आपको कैलकुलेटर पे एक तरकीब समझाऊंगा, टेक्निक बाय विच यू कैन डायरेक्टली कैलकुलेट द दिस मतलब ये रेट ऑफ रिटर्न को एडजस्ट करके आप अपने आप निकाल सकोगे इससे.
सर लेकिन एग्जाम में तो फॉर्मूले से ही करना पड़ेगा ना, ऐसे कैलकुलेटर से डायरेक्टली करा हुआ
नहीं
थोड़ी
नहीं नहीं
ना
बेटा,
बनाना
आप
भी।
ना 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 यही तो बात है. आपको कैलकुलेटर से मैं वैसे ही करना बताऊंगा, फॉर्मूला खाली आप लिख के छोड़ दोगे, बाकी सारी चीजें ऑटोमेटिक कैलकुलेशन से आ जाएगी. यही तो बात है.
ओके सर.
इसीलिए तो ये ऑनलाइन क्लास ले रहा हूँ मैं,
ओके सर.
कि ऐसी ऐसी चीजें आपको सिखा सकूं जो डायरेक्टली आप एग्जाम में क्या कहीं पे भी आप खड़े होगे ना तो 2 मिनट लगेंगे आपको निकालने में इन चीजों को.
ओके सर.
हाँ जी.
थैंक यू सर.
चलो अब आप जस्ट कम टू दिस इलस्ट्रेशन नंबर 7.1 से करें. यस 7.1 पे आ जाइए, मैं निकाल देता हूँ इसमें भी. इलस्ट्रेशन नंबर 7.1, दिस इज पेज नंबर 210 210. बेटा तुम देना 2-2 पेज इकट्ठे किए हुए ना, वो गड़बड़ हो रही है थोड़ी सी दिखाने में. पूर्वा
सर वो फोन पे तो ना हो जाएगा जूम, बट अभी नहीं होगा.
नहीं, यहाँ पर हो रहा है ना. यहाँ पे अब जैसे वही मैं कह रहा हूँ, वहां पे फिर मुझे वो टर्न करने पड़ेंगे. तुम आगे से करो ना तो सिंगल सिंगल पेज ही करना बेटा,
ठीक है सर.
ताकि यहाँ पे भी अपन दिखा सकें.
यस
नाउ
सर.
हाँ, नाउ जस्ट कम ऑन दिस पेज नंबर 210. इलस्ट्रेशन नंबर 7.1 से अपन स्टार्ट करें तो आई थिंक इट स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द प्रीवियस पेज एक्चुअली. यहाँ पे इसको जरा कट कर लेता हूँ. थिंक यहाँ पर भी जूम तो हो रहा है बच्चों, जूम दिख रहा है आपको? Now see this ICT Limited. ICT Limited has decided to purchase a machine to augment the company's installed capacity to meet the growing demand of the product. There are 3 machines under consideration of the management. The relevant details, including the estimated yearly expenditure and sales, are given below. All the sales are on cash and corporate income tax rate is 30%. Now, if you see, this initial investment required is for all the machines are common 3 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 3 lakhs, right? So now estimated annual sales, if you use machine number 1, it will generate the production of 5 lakhs annual sales, 4 lakhs and 4 lakh 50,000. Now, if you see the cost of production, which is estimated direct material, labor, factory overhead, administrative cost and selling and distribution are given 40, 50, 60, 20 and 10, 50, 30, 50, 10, 10, 48, 36, 58, 15 and 10. So this is what is given particularly for all the 3 machines, right? So now let us come again to the next page. Yeah. So the economic life of machine 1 is 2 years, while it is 3 years for the other 2. The scrap values are 40,000, 25 and 30,000 respectively. Now you are required to find out the most profitable investment based on payback period method. Very very simple. तो आपको payback period method निकाल के बताना है कि इनमें से कौन सी मशीन जो है वो ज़्यादा profitable है. इसमें आपको वैसे financial modeling का भी थोड़ा सा नीचे दे रखा है. That machines you have already taken. So डायरेक्ट मटेरियल एंड ऑल एवरीथिंग इज गिवन. सो यू हैव टेकन द डेप्रिसिएशन. यहाँ पे देखो फॉर्मूले भी आपको दे रखे हैं सारे के सारे. तो आप इसको चाहो तो एक्सेल में भी करना. इकोनॉमिक लाइफ दे रखी है 233. स्क्रैप वैल्यूज आपके आ जाएंगी दिस एंड इनफ्लो एंड पे बैक पीरियड मेथड अगर आप निकालोगे इससे तो आपका क्या आ रहा है देखिए. इनिशियल इन्वेस्टमेंट एस्टिमेटेड एनुअल कैश सेल्स 5 lakhs 3 lakhs. तो ये सब आपको दे रखा है. एंड देन फर्दर depreciation is also given to you. Now this, if you see this output of the case, फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड मशीन इनिशियल इन्वेस्टमेंट आपके 3-3 लाख हो गए. एस्टिमेटेड एनुअल सेल्स आपकी बताई रखी है. डायरेक्ट मटेरियल वगैरह सबको जोड़ जुड़ा के आपका जो है ये अगला वाला आपका आई गया. एंड नाउ हेयर द कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन आ गया. इकोनॉमिक लाइफ 233 दे रखा है. स्क्रैप वैल्यूज दे रखी है. कॉर्पोरेट रेट 30%. इनिशियल कैश फ्लोज आफ्टर टैक्स दे रखा है. पे बैक पीरियड देखिए आपका निकल गया 1.141, 1.481 एंड 1.333. ये पे बैक पीरियड तो आप आई थिंक सब लोग निकाल सकते हैं अपने आप, कोई दिक्कत तो नहीं है इसमें. पेबैक पीरियड निकल जाएगा 2.63.
यस सर.
इसका इनिशियल इन्वेस्टमेंट कितना है? इसका इनिशियल इन्वेस्टमेंट देखिए इस मशीन का 3 लाख रुपए है. और अगर ये 3 लाख के इनिशियल इन्वेस्टमेंट पे आपको कैश फ्लो दे रहा है 2,63,000, तो आपको आप इससे डिवाइड करके निकालोगे तो निकल जाएगा दैट हाउ मच इज दिस 3 lakhs. If you do this 3 lakhs divided by 263,000, so it is coming to be 1.14. करके देखो. इनिशियल इन्वेस्टमेंट जो पहले वाली मशीन का है वो कितना था हमारा? It is given to be 3 lakhs. Every machine is having 3 lakhs, right? All the machines are having initial investment of 3 lakhs. तो इन सबको आप 3 lakhs से डिवाइड करके देखिए आपका आ जाएगा 3 lakhs divided by 263, 3 lakhs divided by 202,500 will get 1.48. So what is the decision criteria? Less payback period, better it is. So on this basis, which machine will you select? We will select machine A because it is having a less payback period. Okay. Now in the next question, if you see, there is again you have to calculate the payback period. That can also be done. Okay, illustration number 7.3 पे आ जाइए. Machine cost rupees 1 lakh payable immediately. Machine B cost rupees 1 lakh 20,000. Half payable immediately and half payable after 1 year time. The cash receipts are expected as follows. Machine A 20,000, 60, 40, 30 and 20. And machine B में पहले साल में कुछ नहीं आ रहा है. Next year में 60 आएगा, फिर 60, फिर 80 and फिर कुछ नहीं. At 7% opportunity. Now ये आपको discount rate opportunity cost के रूप में दे दिया है यहाँ पे. तो है वही है डिस्काउंट रेट. ओके, नाउ इसमें सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है, अब आप देखिए इसका जो सोल्यूशन है, इस पे आ जाइए. इस पे आप ये चीज देखोगे, इसमें एक पीवीएफ करके एक टेबल दे रखा है, देख रहे हो आप? व्हाट इज दिस? दिस इज प्रेजेंट वैल्यू फैक्टर. कैन यू सी दिस पीवीएफ ओवर हियर एवरीवन?
यस सर.
हाँ, अब ये जो पीवीएफ का जो फैक्टर है ना, ये मैं आपको कैलकुलेटर पे निकालना सिखा रहा हूँ अभी. ठीक है, सब अपने कैलकुलेटर को ऑन कर लो. 0 आ गया.
यस सर.
ठीक है, अब इस पे लिखो 1, डिवाइड का बटन दबाओ, 1.07 और इक्वल टू दबाओ. 1 डिवाइडेड बाय 1.07 इक्वल टू 934 आ गया.
यस सर.
देखिए यहाँ पे 935 दे रखा है, आपको दे रखा है. अगर आप अप्रोक्सीमेट करोगे अपने आप 935 आ जाएगा. अब और कुछ नहीं करना है, सिर्फ इक्वल टू का बटन दबाना है. एक बार और इक्वल टू दबाइए. 873 आ गया.
यस सर.
फिर वापस से इक्वल टू दबाइए. 861 आ गया. अब आप जितनी बार इक्वल टू दबा रहे हो ना, ये रेस टू पावर का काम कर रहा है. रेस टू पावर. ओके, वापस से इक्वल टू दबाइए. 816 आ गया.
यस सर.
फिर से इक्वल टू दबाइए. 763 आ जाएगा. 76228 आ रहा है. 7628 है ना, तो 763 हो गया. तो वापस आप दबाओगे, ये 712 आ गया. 713 7129 आ रहा है. 713 हो गया. तो मुझे आपको यही बताना था कि 1 डिवाइडेड बाय 1 प्लस. अब यहाँ पे अपन ने क्या कि यहाँ पे एक चीज का ध्यान रखना है. यहाँ पे अपन ने वापस मैं आपको बता देता हूँ, वापस से 0 कर लीजिए. 1 डिवाइडेड बाय 1.07. रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट क्या है? 7%. 7% डिवाइड बाय 7 डिवाइड बाय 100 क्या हुआ है? 0.7 होता है. ठीक है, अगर आप इसको 1 डिवाइड बाय 1.7 करोगे ना, तो गड़बड़ हो जाएगी भाई, क्योंकि वो 70% पे दिखाएगा फिर. ठीक है, तो अगर अपने को 5% लेना है तो क्या करेंगे? 1 डिवाइड बाय 1.05 लेंगे. ठीक है, और अगर अपने को 10% लेना है तो 1 डिवाइड बाय 1.1. 15% लेना है तो 1 डिवाइड बाय 1.15. ओके, सो इस तरह से अपने को प्रेजेंट वैल्यू का फैक्टर निकल जाएगा. और प्रेजेंट अब इसको देख लीजिए वापस से यहाँ पर 1 लाख. अब प्रेजेंट वैल्यू फैक्टर इन ईयर 0, भाई आज की 1 रुपए की वैल्यू 1 ही रुपया है. समझ रहे हो ना बात को आप? तो प्रेजेंट वैल्यू फैक्टर ईयर 0 में, मतलब आज की डेट में जब अपन इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहे हैं, इस इन्वेस्टमेंट लेने का डिसीजन ले रहे हैं, आज की तारीख में 1 रुपए की वैल्यू तो 1 ही रुपये. अगर आप किसी को आज 1 रुपया दोगे, उसको बोलोगे भाई तो 10 का नोट ले ले या 10 का सिक्का ले ले, तो वो कहेगा यार कुछ भी दे दो चलेगा, अनटिल अनलेस उसका पर्स भारी नहीं हो रहा हो. ठीक है ना, तो उसमें कोई दिक्कत वाली बात है नहीं. सो आज का 1 रुपया आज के बराबर ही है, तो इट इज 1. लेकिन जो 20,000 रुपए हमारे को 1 साल बाद मिल रहे हैं और रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट 7% है, तो उसकी आज की वैल्यू 18,700 रुपए ही होती है. समझ रहे हो ना बात को आप? ऐसे ही 3 साल बाद अगर हमारे को 60,000 मिल रहा है, तो इट इज हैविंग अ प्रेजेंट वैल्यू ऑफ 52,380. द अमाउंट of 40,000 which you are receiving in year 3, it is having value of 32,640 only. In the same way, if you are receiving 20,000 in the year 5, it is having a present value of 14,260. तो इन सबको जब आप ऐड करोगे तो आपके जो आगे वाले आपको जो पैसे मिलने वाले 20,000, 60,000, 40,000, 30 और 20, उसकी आज की वैल्यू क्या है? 40,780. और आप आज इन्वेस्टमेंट क्या कर रहे हो? कितना इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहे हो आज आप? 1 लाख रुपए का. तो 1 लाख रुपए के इन्वेस्टमेंट की आपकी फ्यूचर में आने वाली वैल्यू जो आपको मिल रही है वो केवल 4870 रुपीज ही है. तो क्या आप इन्वेस्टमेंट करोगे? you will not do investment. अच्छा, अब अगर अपने में कोई ऑप्शन ही नहीं है, we have to do investment or we have to choose between two, we will choose that machine which is giving us higher return. So अब आप मशीन बी में आ जाओ. अब बी वाली मशीन में ईयर 1 में आपका 60,000 माइनस जा रहा है और उसने वापस वहां पे लिखा था कि अगले साल फिर से आपको 60,000 का पेमेंट करना है. मतलब 1,20,000 का पेमेंट आपको आधे आधे उसमें करना है. देखो उसमें लिखा हुआ है क्वेश्चन में. Okay, and accordingly your cash outflows will inflows will be adjusted by the outflows and net present value will be applied and you will get the adjusted net present value at the end, and then you will compare both of these. So कौन सी machine select करोगे? Machine B will be selected because it is having higher NPV. Is it okay?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
हाँ, तो ये बस, हाँ तो ये आज अपन नेट प्रेजेंट वैल्यू ही कर पाएंगे क्योंकि इसके काफी सारे क्वेश्चंस भी हैं, आप वो भी आगे कीजिएगा. ऐसे इलस्ट्रेशन नंबर 7.4, 7.5 जिसमें भी आप नेट प्रेजेंट वैल्यू निकाल सको आप निकालना. IRR आपको अपने आप पढ़ना है, उसमें अगर कोई दिक्कत आती है तो अपन कल सॉल्व कर सकते हैं उसको. तो प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी इंडेक्स, नेट प्रेजेंट वैल्यू और इंटरनल रेट ऑफ रिटर्न, ये 3 चीजें अपन ने कंप्लीट करी हैं आज. और इसी से आपका एक कैपिटल बजटिंग यहाँ पे वैसे खत्म हो जाता है क्योंकि इससे ज़्यादा इन डेप्थ आपके है नहीं. क्योंकि जो टेक्निक्स अपने को पढ़नी है, 2 नॉन डिस्काउंटेड कैश फ्लो टेक्निक्स हैं, एक आपकी एनपीवी है और एक है एवरेज रेट ऑफ रिटर्न. और डिस्काउंटेड कैश फ्लो टेक्निक्स में आपका एनपीवी आ गया, प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी इंडेक्स आ गया और आईआरआर. इसके अलावा अपने को ज़्यादा कुछ देखने की जरूरत इसमें है नहीं. तो इससे रिलेटेड जो क्वेश्चन होंगे वही आपको करने हैं. तो अब आपके ये वाले जो बाकी के क्वेश्चंस हैं, दैट यू कैन डू इट योरसेल्फ एंड व्हेनेवर यू विल गेट अ प्रॉब्लम इन एनी ऑफ द क्वेश्चन वी विल डिस्कस इट ऑनलाइन ओवर हियर ओनली. इज इट ओके? सो रिमेनिंग ऑल द क्वेश्चंस यू हैव टू डू. ये जो एडवांस प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, इट इज ऑन पेज नंबर 228. एडवांस प्रॉब्लम्स आर गिवन ऑन पेज नंबर 228, इलस्ट्रेशन नंबर 7.30. So these problems which are the advanced problem which are given on page number 228, ये मैं आपको जो है अगली, पहले आप यहाँ तक कर लीजिए. So let us अब अपन कब मिले बताइए? 7.29 इलस्ट्रेशन तक आपको समझ लेना है, कर लेना है हाथ से. Please keep on doing because I will be asking you the scan copies of your notebooks in order to evaluate your assignments, in order to see whether you have done it or not. So अब आप एक काम करो, मैं आपको चॉइस दे देता हूँ, इसमें से कोई भी 15 ठीक रहेगा या 10? बताइए कितने करोगे?
सर 10 ठीक है.
10 ठीक है. तो 10 इलस्ट्रेशन, 10 ग्रेडेड इलस्ट्रेशन अपनी मर्जी के जो आपको ठीक लगे वो आप कर लीजिएगा.
चैप्टर 6 के या 6 और 7 दोनों के?
नहीं बेटा, चैप्टर 6 के तो सारे ही करने हैं आपको, जो मैंने बता दिया ना आपको. लास्ट इलस्ट्रेशन में भी कराया ना 6.7, वहां तक आपको सारे करने हैं. वो सारे करने हैं आप. वो है कितने? 6 ही तो हैं. और ये वाले आपको जो है 7.29 तक के कोई भी 10 जो आपको ठीक लगे वो कर लीजिएगा.
ओके सर.
तो ये आपका ये वाला चैप्टर भी ऑलमोस्ट खत्म है क्योंकि इसमें भी काफी सारी चीजें अपन कर चुके हैं. अच्छा, ऑप्शनल है. अब देखो क्योंकि अपने सिलेबस का पार्ट नहीं है, लेकिन मैंने आपको बुक खरीदवाई है, तो इसके अंदर जो जो फाइनेंशियल मॉडलिंग की चीजें दे रखी हैं आप अपने एक्सेल पे उसको ट्राई कीजिएगा. एक मैंने आपको एग्जाम्पल अभी करके भी दिखाया कैसे इसको यूज करते हैं. ठीक है. और बाकी की चीजें आप यहाँ से समझोगे. आपको आधी से ज्यादा चीजें जब खुद करोगे ना तो अपने आप आ जाएंगी कि एक्सेल में इसको कैसे यूज किया जाता है. जब आप इंडस्ट्री में जाओगे तो ये एक्सेल आपको आना चाहिए. ओके वैसे मेरा ये सेपरेटली एक्सेल के ऊपर एक अलग से पूरा मैं कंप्लीट वर्कशॉप वगैरह करवाता हूँ एक्सेल का. तो वो भी अगर कोशिश करेंगे, अगर पॉसिबल हुआ ये अपना कोर्स फटाफट फिनिश हो जाए तो मैं आपको पूरी की पूरी एक्सेल मॉडलिंग ऑनलाइन ही बता सकता हूँ इफ़ यू वांट. तो वो तब हो पाएगा, वो दैट इज अ इंडस्ट्री ओरिएंटेड थिंग. वो तब हो पाएगा जब आप एक्चुअली जो अपने को करना है वो आप कंप्लीट करोगे. ठीक है. सो आई होप दिस इज गुड इनफ. तो लेट अस मीट ऑन व्हेन. अब ये कब तक कर पाओगे आप? ये 29 तक, मतलब 15 क्वेश्चन इसके और 6 क्वेश्चन उसके, कब तक आप कर पाओगे आप मुझे बताओ.
सर 10 बोले थे आपने।
हाँ मतलब चलो ठीक है, मैं अभी आपको एक ईमेल भी कर देता हूँ कि आपको 10 क्वेश्चन है बेटा।
सर एक महीना सर, एटलीस्ट सर ये वाला महीना सर पूरा।
सर कॉलेज खुलने तक।
अच्छा तो फिर बेटा फिर एग्जाम अगर होंगे तो फिर कैसे करोगे, क्योंकि अभी बीच में मैं अभी क्विजेस वगैरह भी दूंगा, ठीक है। अब इन दोनों चैप्टर्स की मैं क्विज, हाँ इन दोनों चैप्टर्स की अलग अलग क्विजेस में दूंगा। नहीं 25 इट विल बी टू लेट, आई विल नॉट विल मीट अगेन ऑन 21st। 21 तारीख को मिलेंगे, संडे भी आपके पास, मंडे बेटा आगे आगे बहुत सारी चीजें अपने को पढ़नी है, बहुत पूरा कोर्स बाकी है आपका, तो वो सब भी अपने को करना है। तो ये आप अपन अब नेक्स्ट क्लास अपनी 21st को रखेंगे और आप इसको करके रेडी रखो, और जब भी मैं कहूँ आपको स्कैन करके देने के लिए उस टाइम पे करने मत बैठना बेटा, क्योंकि at that time you must be ready to give, because evaluation will be based on that only, that how much जैसे मांगो मुझे उससे का तुरंत मिल जाए, क्योंकि ये सब जब तक आप साथ साथ में नहीं करोगे तो इसका कोई यूज भी नहीं है करने का, नहीं तो आपको समझ में भी नहीं आएगा बाद में, क्योंकि आगे ये चीजें और कॉम्प्लिकेटेड, यही सारी चीजें कैपिटल बजटिंग मैंने क्यों अभी हाथ लगाया, क्योंकि आगे आने वाले चीजों में ये कैपिटल बजटिंग आपको बहुत सारा ज्यादा काम में आएगा। किसी भी चीज को इवेल्युएट करना है टाइम वैल्यू ऑफ मनी के थ्रू ही यू विल बी एबल टू डू इट। Okay, so I'm logging off now today, and we will meet on now on 22nd, right? For the rest of the chapter where we will be considering the capital rationing and other special cases. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So thank you all of you. Happily do it.
Bye bye.
Okay. Bye.